Hello, everybody. Welcome to the All Things Sports Podcast, episode 3. Sorry, I haven't been doing the itty episodes lately. Uh, Stuff's been going on, and we've been trying to move and stuff. I got my man here, undisputed world champ from Columbus, Georgia. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fine, bro. How about yourself, man?
I've been doing good. Uh, I don't know what the weather was down here. Maybe 50 degrees, but
Oh,
that
it's 50
cold
degrees.
breeze. But that cold breeze, man. That cold breeze, that cold gusty wind. But it was nice today. It was very nice.
Nice.
But hopefully we'll have a great show today. Today, Champ just got off a pod, and so we've been wanting to do this. I've been wanting to do this for a while, so uh, I'm excited about this. But let's get into it. I was planning to do this very earlier. The NFL free agency recap. A lot of things happened during free agency, including one of the comments right here. Derrick Henry getting signed. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But Champ, I want to start with you, man. What did you think about the Kirk Cousins signing? About the Falcons signing him.
I think it was a good signing. Like I stated before on other shows, I didn't agree about the money until I figured out what really the nature of the contract was. They really fixed it so that it was um it was 100, it was 100, it was the salary's front loaded for the first 2 years, and then on the last 2 years is worth $10 million. So I'm excited about what he's gonna do, but it's gonna really depend on if he comes back healthy at this point. If he comes back healthy, sorry, if he comes back healthy at this point, then he'll be able to do a lot of things and a lot of special things in Atlanta. But if not, then it's going to be a little bit of turmoil because a lot is banking on Kirk Cousins at this point. And if he does not deliver, it's going to be a lot of things that we can. It's going to be a lot of things that occurred this year, similar to what it was last year, when we don't have a quarterback and just a lot of talent on the offensive defensive side of the ball. And if that happens, then we have another 7-10 season ahead of us at this point.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my reaction to it, I was at school and I was keeping up on the free agency stuff, and as soon as I saw and heard that Kirk Cousins got signed to the Falcons, I was absolutely surprised, especially from how much money they had paid him. Didn't they pay him like 120 million around that?
Yeah, 180 million, 100 guaranteed. But like I stated earlier, the contract is front loaded. It's front loaded. It's front loaded to the point where he's getting the majority of the salary in the first 2 years. And then on the last 2 years, it's only $10 million. So it's a very, very team friendly deal when you look at what happens on the back end. So it's technically a 2 year deal because after those 2 years, if he's not doing well, then we can cut him and it's not a big hit on the salary cap.
Yeah, no, but I still think Cousins was a good signing, especially of how he did in Minnesota for a little bit. He was a really good player there until he pulled his hamstring last year. Obviously, that could affect him a little bit. Just looking at what it might do from a standpoint, but I still think he will do pretty good, especially with the weapons they have at wide receiver. The Falcons do have good weapons like Drake London. Did they get someone from free agency also for wide receiver?
They went and got Darnell Mooney
Or not
from the
Moody.
Chicago Bears. He's a speedster at the wide receiver position. Not to mention, they went and got Rashawn Moore from the Arizona Cardinals when we traded Desmond Ritter. He's also a speedster at the wide receiver position as well.
But yeah, whenever you have those weapons at quarterback, it'll really help you. But I don't. I think the running back position is also fine too because you got Bijan Robinson from your draft last year, who is great this season. To be honest, he was really good. Uh, if you look at it, I thought the offense was pretty good. Defensive side of things, little things that they could fix there. But just looking at Kirk Cousins, he'll be a great addition to the team, in my opinion.
I agree.
But going to the Packers signings, Xavier McKinney and Josh Jacobs going to the Packers. Champ, what do you think about that?
Josh Jacobs, depending on how they use him, will be a great asset to that team. Last year, they had a very, very good running team with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon going down the stretch, especially in the playoffs at this point. So with Josh Jacobs at the helm, they should get even better at that position at this point. People have to realize that he was very much underutilized under the tutelage of Josh Jacobs at this point. So I think that's going to be a very, very good deal. And Xavier McKinney adds some much needed help in the secondary for the Green Bay Packers. So those two signings were grand, and it adds a little bit of star power to that Green Bay Packers team, who is the youngest team in the NFL at this point.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs was an incredible add to the team, in my opinion. If you looked at what he did at whenever he was in Las Vegas, he was a really good running back. If you looked at it, his running ability is really, really good. I will say I used to be a Giants fan. Looking at the defensive side of things, Xavier McKinney, he's an all right player. It just depends on how he does during the season for me, because it just depends. I haven't really seen much of him ever since I was a fan for Giants, and Xavier McKinney is an all right player. I thought it was an all right pickup, in my opinion. But other signings that happened. I'm pretty sure Aaron Jones went to the Vikings. I thought that was a pretty good signing, in my
Yes, there
opinion.
was. Let's not forget about Danielle Hunter going to the
Texans, yeah.
Houston Texans, because that adds a lot. I mean, a lot of much needed depth at the pass rush. Because remember, last year Willie Anderson won the Defensive Rookie of the Year award. So, and then they lost Jonathan Greenyard to the Minnesota Vikings. So for them to get a huge pass rusher like a Danielle Hunter at this point to go opposite of Willie Anderson is a very good thing for them.
Yeah, it's a great ad for Houston, especially for how they are as a team, on how they are as a team. It really helps the edge rush on the defensive side of things, especially of how you look at it, of Will Anderson being off the edge and him being an edge guy too. It'll be an incredible ad to the team for them there, especially with how CJ Stroud was last year during the whole entire season. It yeah, it was he was good last year, really, really good, deserving the offensive rookie of the year and all that stuff. But I thought it was a pretty good move on Houston, though. It helps them on the defensive side of things and on the edge side. Moving on, though, Christian Wilkins going to the Las Vegas Raiders for 4 years, $110 million. Champ, what do you think about that?
Is going to provide Max Crosby with a lot of much needed help on the pass rushing side of the ball, because he didn't have another solid pass rusher to go along with him. But to get a player the caliber of Christian Wilkins, that should help him out a lot, especially if they line them up on the same side. That way you can't key in on Max Crosby too much.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good signing too, especially of how he's a major weapon to the Dolphins, and I'm surprised they had to let him go. I thought they would re-sign him, especially from how good he is on defense. And the Dolphins just lost a big weapon out of what they got. Of course, they got Kendall Fuller out of it, and many other players that they can sign and re-sign. But it's just you lost the main player on that defensive line that was really incredible and that helped that team. And I think that's gonna kind of not really help them on the defensive side of things if you look at it that way. I think this is an incredible ad for Las Vegas, obviously. As you said, Champ, it'll help Max Crosby on the defensive side of the line, especially being an edge rusher and pressuring the quarterback. That's a really good thing to do. They'll be able to get through the O line faster and all that. But yeah, moving on. Calvin Ridley going to Tennessee. I thought that was an all right move. I guess it was an all right move. But yeah, Champ, your thoughts on it?
Uh, it was a good move. It wasn't a blockbuster move, but Calvin Ridley has just come off a 1,000 yard, has just come off an 1,000 yard season. But to be honest with you, I'm just going to be very, very honest with you. If you look at the story, it's arguably one of the greatest comeback stories of all time in the NFL. Because remember, he just got suspended just last year before he came to Jacksonville for that gambling charge. Remember, he got suspended for a year. So for him to come back from that, get 1,000 yards, and parlay that into a huge contract is very much a great story to be a story of redemption, to be honest with you. And not only that, he's not going to be asked to be the guy, to be honest with you. He has D-Hop on the other side of it. So D-Hop, Calvin Ridley, I mean, they're going to be doubling D-Hop a lot more, especially depending on how great Will Levis is. So if they are keying in on D-Hop the way they were this year and not pretty much paying attention to Calvin Ridley should prove to have a great season this year. And I think that's going to be a great asset to Will Levis at this point.
Yeah, that's probably going to be a really great asset to Will Levis. But I need to just point this out here. What?
I mean, the reason why he's probably saying that at this point, because he doesn't really know how good Will Levis is going to be at this point. And, Will Levis showed promise this year in his first game. I think he threw 5 touchdowns in his first game, but we haven't really seen what he's going to do in the entirety of the season. And he does have a great point, if you really want to be honest. D-Hop really wasn't doing good when he first got to Tennessee. Not to mention, Julio Jones, when he first went to Tennessee, didn't do very good. So I can understand the point, but to be honest with you, you have to understand how Will Levis is going to do at this point. It's strictly going to be how D-Hop and Calvin Ridley do is going to strictly be based on how Will Levis does.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to this comment of how going to the Titans is a death sentence, basically. I wouldn't say that. There are some players that have gone to the Titans and have been really good there. So some things there are just, yeah. But moving on, some other signings I wanted to look at. Eric Armstead going to Jacksonville for 3 years. That's a really great sign, especially for the defensive side of things for Jacksonville. They really kind of needed it. They need help on that defense, especially with Josh Allen being on that defensive side of things, and I think it'll help them. I think the only problem on Jacksonville is Trevor Lawrence a little bit. They need a quarterback that can control pass and run, kind of like Justin Fields can.
Well, to be honest with you, Trevor Lawrence regressed a lot last year, and a lot of that was due to injuries, and we don't really know how hurt he was. So this is going to be pretty much a sink or swim season for him at this point.
Yeah, it's pretty much an up or down season with him because Trevor Lawrence, he was up and down last year also because of how he was and how he did all throughout that, but it'll just depend on what happens there and just how it'll go there. But looking at the other signings, Saquon Barkley obviously going to the Philadelphia Eagles. I think it was for 3 years, and you obviously got the Tiki Barber saying "You're dead to me," and all that crap that went on. But Saquon's a good signing for them. As used to be a Giants fan, I didn't really expect them to re-sign him because they didn't really offer him anything. They franchise
No, they
tagged
did
him
not.
last year with overpaying Daniel Jones. What do you mean?
They really didn't. I mean, the Giants, they didn't offer him anything. I'm agreeing.
I thought you were looking at the franchise tag side of things, but they did franchise tag him. They overpaid Daniel Jones a lot of amounts of money. I think my dad can agree with that. He's a Giants fan and a Spurs fan too. He can agree that was a big overpay, especially for $160 million. Huh? But them going to, but him going to the Eagles really helps them, but doesn't at the same time because that man, he has a glass knee, and that glass knee can easily break by dropping on the floor, and he can easily get injured, and it's happened many years before. So they're basically getting a running back with a glass knee, but if he performs the right way, especially for being a replacement for DeAndre Swift, who went to the Bears in free agency, also, um, I it just depends on how he'll do this year.
Yes, it will. And how he's utilized in Philadelphia as well. Because
Especially
remember,
with Jalen Hurts of how his scrambling ability is.
yeah, especially with Nick Sirianni, because if Nick Sirianni doesn't use Saquon correctly, if he doesn't use him in the manner he's supposed to be used, then he's going to be a bust going to Philadelphia. But he has to use Saquon in a way that he's supposed to be used.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with that, but there's also another thing. You have people that retired, like not Travis, Jason Kelsey, Fletcher Cox on the Eagles, which is, if you look at Jason Kelsey is a pretty big loss to him, honestly, because it was a great O-line that they had there. I don't know if Lane Johnson retired, but I think he's still on the Eagles. Yeah,
To
he
be honest
probably.
with you cannot replace that type of leadership on the offensive side of the ball with a Jason Kelsey. But on the defensive side of the ball with Fletcher Cox, hopefully, I will say, Jalen Carter, who was a defensive rookie of the year candidate, can continue to improve. And his former teammate at UGA, Jordan Davis, can develop a little bit more as well with Fletcher Cox gone. So it's going to be interesting to see how those Georgia Bulldogs that they drafted over the course of the last couple of years develop in that Philadelphia defense at this point, now that some of the veterans are gone.
Yeah, yeah. One last move that I want to talk about for free agency recap. Patrick Queen, and I want to talk about the Ravens players mostly. Patrick Queen going to the Steelers. Uh, the the safety from the Ravens that went to the Bengals. What a
Geno Stone.
betray that was. Geno
Geno
Stone.
Stone.
Yep. The 7 interceptions guy that went right to the Bengals. And then the last person that got released, and this is a pain to my heart, Gus Edwards that went to the Chargers. Pretty good moves, but came with a serious downfall because Patrick Queen was an incredible guy on that defense, especially for how he was on the linebacker side of things. He helped really much, and decided to go to the enemy, obviously. And then Geno Stone being at the defensive side of the ball, it'll be a great ad for the Bengals. I think especially replacing Jesse Bates from a while ago that was on the Bengals. And then Gus Edwards is going to help on that halfback side of things because Gus Bus he can roll through people.
Yeah, he can roll through them. And I believe y'all will get those guys replaced in the draft. Y'all are one of the best outside of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Y'all are one of the best drafted teams in the NFL. When you look at the safety spot,
Maybe.
when you look at the safety spot, the tight end spot, when you look at the linebackers, you guys have drafted historically great at those positions. And you've drafted running back historically great. The only position I can say y'all have had trouble drafting at until recently was, I would say, the wide receiver position. Y'all always went and got people in free agency when it came to that position. But when it comes to linebacker, safety, y'all can get those guys replaced. And it's going to really, I don't know how the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to use him in a 3-4 system, like their system runs, because it's very, very different from the Baltimore Ravens at this point. But those are good signings. It's going to be interesting to see how Geno Stone replaces Jesse Bates up there in Cincinnati. And also, it's going to be interesting to see how Patrick Queen adjusts to being in the middle at this point, because I truly believe he's going to be in the middle in that 3-4 defense, and not on the outside like he was when he was in Baltimore.
Yeah, and one last move before we move on. Derrick Henry signing. Incredible signing, to be honest.
Yes, it is.
Because if you look at it, Derrick Henry, even though he's been all right for the past couple of years. Of course, he hasn't been the same person as he always been, a driving tank that has ran through entire defenses. That has ran through a Patriot 2017-2016 Patriots defense, just bull rushing them. I think he's an incredible add to the Ravens. I wasn't really surprised about it. I mean, I had a little bit of surprise, but I wasn't really that much surprised about it, especially with it pointing to basically Derrick Henry coming to our team and just coming to the Ravens in general. People kind of knew what was going to happen and what was going to come with that there. And yeah, that's my opinion on it. Champ, yours?
To be honest with you, it's going to really depend how you guys use it. And if you guys run him 300 times, if you guys are going to give him 300 carries, because if you know Derrick Henry like I know him, you have to feed him the ball. He's not going to be that much of a factor in the receiving game. And in order to get him going, you're going to have to feed him at least 20 to 30 times a game. So it's going to be interesting to see how Todd Monken, who is a guru at utilizing the running back position, how he uses him and Lamar in the running game at this point. Now, if he uses them in splits to carries, I don't think that's going to work. You're going to have to feed Derrick Henry. Now, do you need to incorporate Lamar Jackson in the running game still? Yes, you do, because that's a big part of his game. But you have to feed Derrick Henry if you want him to get going. And if that happens, I think he's going to do great things. If he remains healthy throughout the season.
Yeah, that's a big if. But he's going to be a great guy to have on the offensive side of things, just to be completely honest, if you look at it. I want to point out something before we move on to the next topic. I was wrong about Caleb Williams. Obviously, through other shows, Champ, you've seen this before of how I said Caleb Williams is trash and all of that and stuff. I was wrong because I looked at highlights a few days ago, and I posted about this on TikTok. I didn't post it on YouTube, and I actually posted a rant about how Caleb Williams is bad and how Justin Fields is better. I was very wrong. Justin Fields, and here's the reason why I like Fields. It's because he's a balanced quarterback. He's in between. He's a very good balanced quarterback that can control the offense if he has a good O-line. I pointed that out many, many times in my video. The Bears have not had a good O-line for many, many years, and they will not still. And drafting Caleb Williams and that offense is going to have to figure out how to do something, especially with Matt Eberflus controlling the offense and controlling the whole entire thing. They need to figure out something. And if they can't figure out what that thing is, especially with Keenan Allen and DJ Moore being on that side, I mean, he has factors. He has an incredible throwing ability. He can run with the ball. He can scramble. Caleb Williams can do all those things that Justin Fields can do. It's just, can the O-line hold up? And this is what I think is happening to Bryce Young. Bryce Young was an incredible quarterback at Alabama. We saw his positives and his negatives. It's just, with him going to Carolina, he doesn't have a great O-line. He doesn't have anybody blocking for him, so he can't really throw it to anybody. And he doesn't have great key weapons on offense either. So there's that. There's that. I think this Caleb Williams was going to kind of be a Bryce Young guy starting off the season. And, of course, it's his rookie year. We'll see what he's going to do. But, yeah.
Oh, to be honest with you, they got him the weapons that he needed. They went and got Keenan Allen. They already had DJ Moore. They already have Cole Kmet. They went and got DeAndre Swift. They went and signed a few pieces on the offensive line. They're not big name guys, but they could get the job done. But and I also believe that they're going to go end up getting an offensive lineman like an Olu Fashanu or Joe Alt, depending on if they trade back up into the top 5 or the top 6 at a certain point. So, I mean, it's going to really depend on how they draft. But they definitely need a left tackle. I can definitely agree with you on that.
Yeah, but that's all I got to say about Caleb Williams. I was wrong about him. I'm sorry. And that's all I got to say about it. Let's talk about the thing that is about to come up here. I wish I had Harrison here to talk about it. March Madness is here. Obviously, March Madness is it's a really exciting event. I started watching it last year. It is madness. It's entertaining. It entertains you, especially with how college basketball is and how much college basketball you're going to be getting. It's great to watch, to be honest. I watched a little bit of it last year and thought it was really good. I actually made my bracket for it. I have UNC winning. I know that's Brandon's team. I know that's Brandon's team, obviously, but I have UNC winning against, I think, Houston 77-73. But March Madness is an exciting event. If you just look at it in general, with, of course, Luis's favorite team, UConn, Harrison's favorite team, Duke, and a lot of more teams in there that are really, really good. I don't know if you watch a lot of college basketball, champ, especially with Georgia Tech being in there also.
I will say this: when it comes to football, UGA, basketball, University of North Carolina. So, UNC. I know this is a biased pick. I'm taking UNC to take it all. Shout out to Brandon.
Salute. But March Madness, I don't really got much to say about it. I don't think you really got much to say about it either, because you don't really watch college basketball that much unless you do.
But I watch college basketball, but it's not as exciting as football. And if you really want me to be honest, the ladies' side right now is more exciting than the men's side of March Madness. If you want to be honest, Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, just to name a few.
Caitlin Clark from Iowa. She just broke a record that no one else can set for shooting the most threes, and she can knock down threes and drain them like nobody else can.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But moving on to the unless you got something else to say.
No. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna do a little bit of start bet your cuts. I know I'm taking a little bit of this from PSP, so I'm gonna give him credit because he does do this on his show. By the way, go subscribe to Sports PSP's podcast every Friday at 7 p.m. Central.
9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
So 8 p.m. Central.
Yeah, 8 p.m. Central, yeah.
8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, if you guys want to tune into that. I don't know whenever he's going to bring me back on the show. I would really like to be back on there, and I would also like to be back in the throwdown, but things, man, it happens. But start bitches and cuts. We're going to do an NFL one, an NBA one, and then might do another one just to spare us some time. We have Randy Moss, Marvin Harrison, and Jerry Rice. Champ, I'm going to let you start first since you're the old guy here.
Starting Jerry Rice, benching Moss, and I'm cutting Marvin Harrison.
We have one of the people in the chat that said start Jerry Rice, bench Randy Moss, and cut Marvin Harrison. In my opinion, if you looked at this, and especially with me in my young mind, I got Randy Moss, Jerry Rice, Marvin Harrison. So I'm starting Moss, benching Rice, and cutting Harrison. I know Jerry Rice was an incredible wide receiver, but if you compare to what Randy Moss has done in all of his years of being in football and how Jerry Rice was almost just on the 49ers, he did help with Joe Montana being on that team also, uh,
Yeah.
being one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL according to you. But yeah, he was a great help to that offense. I just think Randy Moss is a little bit better because he was incredible on the Vikings, incredible on Patriots, mostly incredible on all the teams he was. He wasn't incredible on every single one, but he was still a guy that could get the job done.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna move on to the NBA one. I'm sorry this is going quick. I tried to think of topics as much as I could. um, start benches and cuts to NBA now. We might do another NBA one that is all time, but we're gonna be doing this throughout all of their career. So, you can just do this throughout all of their career. We got Steph Curry, Durant, and Harden. Uh, Champ, I'm gonna let you go first.
Uh, Curry, Durant, Harden.
Um, if you look at their career, just throughout all of it, I'm sorry to say this. I'm gonna go with Curry. Give me Harden on the bench. I'm cutting to Kevin Durant. I know KD was a really great player. It's just if you seen what Harden did in his prime, I don't know if you saw what he did in his prime during
Yeah,
the
I saw what he
playoffs.
did in the prime.
During
He
the
was
playoffs in
great.
20 during the playoffs in 2014, whenever he faced the Spurs, that man was knocking down threes like it was nothing.
Yeah, he was. That was a great MVP year, and when he led the league in scoring. But I still got to take Curry for what he did for being unanimous MVP career wise and changing the game.
Obviously, Curry's a very good player. He's always been a very good player, and obviously, I benched Harden under him because of that. But continue. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take Steph Curry, then Durant, then Harden. I'll say that.
Yeah, I think the comments agree with you on this one. It's just Harden, Durant did incredible things on Golden State, especially with how you faced the king, uh, LeBron James, and yeah, just all of that. If you look at it, yeah, I I I don't know if Champ's with that. I don't know if Champ watches in the MLB. I don't think he does, man.
I watched the Braves, and that's about it, bro. I
Yeah,
watched the Braves. I watched
yeah,
the Atlanta Braves, and that's about it, bro.
yeah. I'll do another start bench cut, and then we might move on to some short clipped topics. I'll look around as we're doing this, or try to find a topic that we can find because there was other signings that actually went on. We can actually go back to the free agency stuff and talk more about that. But I'm trying to think of a good NBA start bench cut. Okay, give me a second here. This is happening live, so I'm sorry. I did not prepare well. I'm sorry if I also butcher this guy's name. Uh, I'm gonna do something a little bit different here. Now, obviously, I'm doing this just because it's idea and it's a fun one. But give me a sec because I have a lot of stuff. Actually, we're just gonna do a rank here. Uh, just rank these guys here. I might add more just in case. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, and LeBron James. And I'll add one more person in there, and I'll add my own personal comment in there too. By the way, you cannot change my mind on this. I don't care. I don't care what you say. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, LeBron James, and Michael Jordan, the actual GOAT. LeBron James is not the GOAT. I'm sorry. King James is not the GOAT, man. Michael Jordan, as you saw what he did back in the 1990s, of course, people are saying, stop talking about the 1990s. Still, if you look at what he did, he was an incredible player. I don't know if you saw that incredible documentary on Jordan. By the way, that was on Prime Video. It was called Air. Air. That was what it was called. I thought that was a really great movie. I watched it with my dad. How he got signed, how he came up with Jordan, and all of that. But he's one of the greatest basketball players of all time, and nobody can change my mind on that.
Right. Let's see.
Just rank them on how you want them to be, from best to worst, or worst to best, however you want to rank them.
Well, there's no worst on this list, but we'll go for it. Let's go. Jordan number 1, Bron 2, Kareem 3, Kobe 4, Magic 5, Wilt 6.
Okay, we got one in here. 1 MJ, 2 LeBron, 3 Kobe, 4 Wilt, 5 Kareem, 6 Magic. If I had to go off this list, Kobe is not gonna be my first. I'll go with MJ first, LeBron James second, Kobe Bryant third, Kareem fourth, Wilt Chamberlain fifth, and then Magic Johnson sixth.
All right.
I mean, the incredible players, by the way.
Incredible players.
We're gonna go back to a little bit of free agency while I try to scatter the webs of the internet for clips that can be good, especially first take clips. I think I want to look at a thing from Unk or something there. Ooh. I don't think Kobe is the GOAT, but he's a top 3 player of all time, in my opinion. I think that's fair. If you had a panel on here that, just to talk for a moment, if you had a panel on here that talked about basketball, especially with Trey, Leaf, Brandon, all those guys, they would be going at each other about the whole entire thing. Especially, I actually want to pull something up from Instagram, by the way, from Brandon's Instagram. That was insane. I don't know if you want to go back to this though. It's when Trey did the top 5 list on his top 5 duos.
Yeah, I'd rather not go through that again. That's a hoot. That's a hoot, to say the least. But yeah, I'd rather not go through that again. Then, little bro.
but what was so wrong with his list, in your opinion?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't think anyone considers Joe Dumars and I'll say Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas top 5 duo of all time. That's just my humble opinion. Now, were they up there? Or now, were they a good duo? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're them with Shaq and Kobe and Jordan and Pippen and LeBron and D Wade. Some of those guys are very they don't really compare with those guys. So they're a good duo. Nothing against them. They're the only duo to ever win back-to-back NBA, the only backcourt in NBA history to win back-to-back NBA Finals MVPs. So, I mean, taking nothing away from them, but the dominance that they had at their peak does not equate to that of a Jordan and Pippen or a Shaq and Kobe or LeBron and D Wade. Their dominance cannot be equal. Is not equivalent to theirs, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. I just saw a post on Instagram. I thought it was funny. Wait, what? He won back-to-back chips with Derek Fisher and Smush Parker. Who are those two people?
Well, Derek Fisher, he played for the Lakers. Smush Parker, he played for the Lakers as well. I don't think Smush Parker was on that team that won the championships, though. I don't think they won the team that won the championships, though. But
this is the post that I've seen on Instagram. Fortnite needs to add Stephen A. Smith to the game. I don't know about that.
I have to be honest with you. I've never played a game of Fortnite in my life, man. I have never played a game of Fortnite.
That is not for old people.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I can't really say it's not for old people. It's just I've just never played it. Probably because I don't have the time anymore to play a lot of video games. But yeah, I've never played Fortnite.
Because you got work and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to find a good
video games got replaced for board games.
The video games were replaced in the 90s.
Yeah.
Let me try to find something here. Oh, this I want to look after because I don't know about this one. I don't know about this one, and this is current NBA that we talking about.
The Knicks get healthy with OG and Julius Randle. Are they the biggest threats to the Celtics?
I believe so. JJ.
Oh, my God.
I believe so, JJ. Listen, man. Shannon, stop it. It's the truth, Shannon. Let me tell you something right now, okay? If the New York Knicks get healthy, I believe they are the number one threat to the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference. I think they're going to the conference finals. They 14 games over 500 right now. They'd be at least 20 games over 500 if Julius Randle had never gotten hurt, okay? They wouldn't win on no damn slump. Don't get me started with OG Anunoby and how efficient they have been defensively, JJ. You know all of this stuff. You got the numbers. Mitchell Robinson, if you had that big body, a rebound, and a shot blocker, the defense is already elite without him. Imagine what they would have been with them. So I'm looking at it from that standpoint. I love the pickups of Burks, Achua, and obviously Bogdanovich. I'm looking at the New York Knicks right now, and let me tell y'all something right now. Orange and blue skies, baby. Orange and blue skies. If the New York Knicks get healthy, they go to the conference finals.
The Knicks get healthy with OG.
I don't know about that.
I think it's a possibility, but a long shot. But I digress. I don't really. I think
it's a possibility.
It's a possibility, but a long shot. I don't see it. I don't see it.
I agree with that. Celtics are a really good team. I think we can all say that the Celtics, they are a good team.
Yeah.
But if you look on how the Knicks
I mean, he ain't lying.
Are you talking about a team that usually chokes in the playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, New York has not been. Hey, people can say what they want to about the Knicks, but they have not won a championship since 1970s, and that's before I was born. So I mean,
none of their teams have won their championships since the 1990s.
So the New York Knicks have not done a lot. I mean, they've done a little bit, but not enough to just say, you know what, wow, they're going to do it.
Their NFL team, their NBA team, their NHL team have all made it to the playoffs. Maybe their MLB team. I don't honestly know. But here's the thing that we always know. All New York teams always choke. They always choke all the time.
Eli and them didn't. But you know the Yankees. They have
whenever he had OBJ on his team, David Tyree, name me other players. The Plaxico Burress.
Yeah.
There
Yeah,
were
but
many
they
other
won 2
players,
Super Bowls.
Victor Cruz, and a lot more players that were on there that he had weapons on there.
Yeah, but they won 2 Super Bowls. So I mean, I really can't say all the New York teams. Well, I'll say basically just the basketball team. I really can't say that the Yankees have a lot of championships. They have over 20 championships at this point. The Mets even have a few championships. I will say the Jets and the New York Knicks, they don't really win.
Yeah, it just depends on how that will go. Honestly, with the Giants, and especially with how the Giants are and all that. Oh, wait, what? I don't think the state of New York has won a championship of any kind in any sport since Super Bowl 46. Yeah, you could say that. It's not 46. It is 42. They have not won a Super Bowl since Super Bowl 42.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Honestly, there's not really much to talk about unless you talk about the rookies that happened during the NFL Combine. And also just going back to the NFL free agency stuff. From actually, let's look at a little bit of wrestling, shall we? Let's talk about WrestleMania. I'm very excited for this. I'm very excited for this to happen. Champ, on your show, we saw we talked about a little bit of WrestleMania on the way there. It was just the start of Road to WrestleMania. By the way, go check out Champ's podcast. He's gonna do it around sometime in April.
April 5th.
Yeah, but YouTube's right down here on that ticker. Just search up Champ Pryor. It's very easier just to do that than having to do the whole thing of Undisputed GOAT and all that stuff. But we talked about WrestleMania on there, how The Rock had just came back, and it looks like Rock brought back Hollywood Rock, which was a really good character as you look back in the day. Look back in the day, especially of how it was, obviously. I think it's a really interesting story, especially with what Cody said on the Monday Night Raw. LDS, Little Dick Syndrome, thinking that Brock is just Roman's sidekick, just going after him after the stuff he has said all about him. It's a lot. Of course, you got the brother versus brother match, tag team match, the 6-team tag team match, ladder match actually. That's gonna happen at WrestleMania, which will be an incredible match, especially with the people that are in it. Gunther versus Sami Zayn, Bailey versus Io Sky. It's a stacked card.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Hey, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens in that tag match. And hey, after this coming Friday, it's gonna be interesting to see how Cody reacts meeting Roman one-on-one on SmackDown. Because
I'm excited for that, and it's gonna be happening during the Sports PSP podcast. And I wish I could react to that while I'm on it, but I don't know if I'll be able to even get the PSP because you don't respond to me on Instagram much anymore. But we could talk about that off stream. But yeah. But WrestleMania is going to be very exciting, man. I'm going to be streaming both nights, night 1 and night 2. It'll be very exciting to see what night 1 is. I will tell you, last year, I told my chat on Twitch, I'm going to be streaming all of these on Twitch, by the way. These won't be on YouTube and Twitch. I will try to do the restream thing. It's just my internet is going to be really, really bad on it, and it's not good at all. I'll try it once. I'll see how it goes. But last year, during night 1, I thought the Usos were not even going to ever kick out. They kicked out of every single signature finishing move for the last 35, 40 minutes in night 1. Then you move on to night 2 of how Roman Reigns gets cheated out of a win against Cody Rhodes. That made me so mad, but also at the same time made me get on my knees and acknowledge my tribal chief.
Hey,
I gave up at that point.
hey, real thing before we wrap everything up. Hey, I think Cody finishes the story this year.
They have to. They can't let him lose this, because the plan was not. I don't think they were gonna have Rock in this, but Rock was gonna be targeting the Undisputed World Championship, because if you look about like maybe whenever the Texas Washington game was going on, which was around in January, just looking at that around New Year's, you could see mentioned how he should be sitting at the head of the table. So I expect a turn from Rock, obviously, because Rock is Rock, and all of that's gonna go to waste. We also had CM Punk, Seth Rollins, but that got changed up to Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre. LA Knight, AJ Styles. There's many more matches that you can look at, and that is really, really good. But WrestleMania is going to be a very exciting pay-per-view. I think you can agree with me on that, champ.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's where we're going to conclude it here. I got to do some stuff. I had to take a shower. I had to do a lot of stuff, man. My dad actually came in here, and I had to mute for a second because of that. But y'all know where to follow me at. But champ, what do you want to say, man? Final words.
Hey, thanks for having me on the show, bro. You did a hell of a job today.
I try. I try. It's a little bit new to me, the area and all of that. I saw your comment. They choked the game. But I try to do my best as much as I can, try to come up with ideas as much as I can. Just I watch some of the streams. I'm also trying to up my streaming on Twitch also, because I do stream on there. As you can see down here on the ticker, Twitch, Aiden Coleman _ I do stream on there pretty much mostly. Trying to get back into the swing of things on YouTube for the grind. Since I haven't posted in a month, but I switched that up after changing that. I need to start getting my sleeping on track, because I've been sleeping in the afternoons a little bit because I stay up too late at night, especially 2:30 a.m. at night. Whenever I'm supposed to be up at 6:15 or 5 o'clock in the morning. But I need that needs to be fixed. I'm fixing that. I'm trying to get that fixed. I have a lot of stuff to do. But y'all know where to follow me at. Instagram, Aiden _ Coleman, as you can see down here, the ticker, TikTok, Aiden Coleman, Twitter, Aiden _ Coleman, YouTube. You already know. Make sure you like and subscribe, please. It would help me out really, really bad, really, really much. And then my Twitch. What do you shout out your socials, champ?
Undisputed GOAT on YouTube, Undisputed World Champ on TikTok, and World Champ
_ 2.0 on Instagram.
Yes, indeed.
But thank you all for watching. This has been kind of a tiring stream. My back is kind of killing me right now. But thank you all for watching. I may see you all next Tuesday, depending on what I want to do. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.